Hey everybody, James Shepard here with another edition of the Merchant Sales Insight. As always, if you look in this post, you'll see that there's also a link that you can go to click on and actually read the entire PDF or even just read it as a blog post. But I wanted to talk to you today about selling small business owners on value versus on price. Now, again, this is kind of one of those topics that we've almost been desensitized to because we've heard about it so much. But ironically, nobody really does it very much, or very few people are doing it. And so we're still really selling on price. That's the dominant paradigm right now. And so why is that? And I really think that this relates to an edition of the Merchant Sales Insight we did about a month ago with Valor Paytech, who is also the sponsor of this particular edition. And so we talked about in the last edition was this idea that we kind of have these two extremes right now. We have salespeople that sell standalone terminals that have no additional functionality whatsoever. They just, here's the terminal, swipe your card through, that's all it can do. Then we have agents that are focused on selling full feature point of sale systems, and I think that's fantastic, but there's a lot in the middle. There's a lot of, smaller merchants who really don't want, to land a rocket ship on their counter and have to figure out how to fly it. They don't really want this really complex system. They're fine with that standalone terminal on their counter. The issue is they do want to be able to accept payments in other environments. Maybe they want to be able to take a phone order and be able to type it into their virtual terminal on their laptop. Maybe they want to be able to email invoices to their larger accounts, Maybe they want text to pay to some of their customers that are maybe not paying their bill and they want to be able to text them an invoice link. That's one part of it. So they want an omni-channel solution. The other thing is a lot of these business owners maybe don't even realize they need this, but they really do need to leverage the data that's coming in at the point of sale. They need to be collecting, cell phone numbers so they can do text marketing. They need to get, feedback from their customers, things like that. So there's this whole middle ground that exists, and I think that's really where Valor Paytech is just fantastic. I mean, obviously they have my personal favorite standalone terminal, so that's good. They have the terminal, but the cool thing is that terminal, all the transactions are stored securely, in the cloud. And so they can leverage that cloud computing to also power the virtual terminal, the mobile, devices, the text to pay, the email invoicing. And so all of it works together on one merchant account. Okay. So, they have this great feature, and we talked a lot about that in the last edition, but this week I want to talk to you about how to sell it. How do we sell on value? So we understand the case for it, but how are we going to sell on it? So let me explain the 3 steps very quickly to you of generating interest, overcoming objections, and then closing the sale. So my favorite part of all of this is just generating interest, because I think this is what most salespeople don't seem to understand how to do differently. They're used to walking in, they have a certain pitch that they use. How do we generate value and sell on value to the merchant? Well, the first thing is, when we're trying to generate interest, step 1 is we have to learn to ask questions. Okay. We don't just go in with our cookie cutter approach and everybody gets the same thing. No, we go in and ask questions. How are you currently accepting payments? Do you have a virtual terminal? Meaning, can you type credit card information in on your laptop go to a website and log in and type that in? Do you have a mobile device? Would there ever be a need for you to have a mobile device, to take somewhere else? Are you ever wishing that you could email a link for an invoice or text a link to an invoice to a customer to get paid? Asking questions like that and kind of drawing them out and going, oh, yeah, actually, that would be great. I do go to trade shows, or I do go to events, once a month, and I don't have a credit card machine with me, and it's kind of annoying, or yeah, I do some catering orders and things like that, where it is really annoying that I can't do a phone order or an email invoice. That would be really convenient. So as they start to grasp some of that, and they're like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I would like to have that. Okay. So we ask questions to generate interest. Then number 2, we choose specific features that we talk about that are going to solve those issues or pain points or needs that they have. So I say, well, I'm so glad you brought that up. One of our technology partners, Valor Paytech, offers email invoicing with their virtual terminal. So you can go to a website, you log in there, you can see all the transactions that are from your terminal, but you can also add an invoice and email it to somebody with a link. They click that link, they key in their own credit card information, and then that'll show up in that same report along with the transactions from your terminal. Does that sound like something that would add value? And that's that 3rd step of generating interest, is confirming the value. So we ask questions to identify needs. We talk about specific features, then we confirm value. Is this something you would find valuable? Right? If you had a solution that was collecting cell phone numbers at the point of sale from 20-30% of your customers, and then you were able to send them text messages with special offers to encourage them to come back in and shop, do you feel like that's something that would add revenue to your business? Well, when the merchant says, well, yeah, I'm sure it would. Okay, well, now you've confirmed value. So now we move to that second phase of overcoming objections. Well, obviously I've done like tons and tons of content on how to overcome objections and specific objections and all of that. And I think that's all important. But to be honest, if you're selling on value, most of overcoming objections is about confirming value before the objections come up. So if you follow the advice I just gave and you go through that process of questions and then features, and then confirming value, well, then when they bring up an objection, I don't really want to switch. Well, okay, I understand that, but are you saying that your current provider offers the text marketing and the, customer feedback or the email invoicing to you? And they're like, well, no, they don't. Okay. And I know that's something you said you would find valuable. Am I right? Okay, great. Well, let's keep talking about this then and see if we can find some middle ground, So that's how we're overcoming the objections. Now, I want to take a little side note here to talk about cash discounting for a second, for two reasons. One, obviously Valor Paytech is really big into cash discounting. That's kind of their main, claim to fame. And in addition to that, selling on value has kind of gotten pushed into the background as most of our industry has focused more on selling cash discounting and surcharging because, what better way is there to grab interest than to go in and say, I can eliminate your payment processing fees? Everybody's like, whoa, tell me more. So I understand that. And I don't think that's a bad thing at all. I think that is selling on value. The value is I'm going to save you, it's a very definable value. It's I'm going to eliminate your processing fees. The problem is that it's not enough. So it might be enough to get you the sale, but it's not enough to lock in that client relationship forever because a lot of other competitors can do the same thing. So now you're leaving yourself open. And I don't think agents in our industry understand how vulnerable they really are in this. Once you've eliminated the processing fees for a merchant, I think there's this misconception, and I even thought it early on, is that, now that merchant would never switch, right? Like, why would they switch? You eliminated their processing fees. What else is there that you can offer them? Well, the answer is technology. The answer is integrated payments. So now all of a sudden you've almost made it even less of an issue. So now when your competitor comes in and the merchant says, yeah, I'm not even paying credit card processing fees. Well, now your competitor says, that's fine. We have that same program. That's pretty common. Now it comes down to the technology, right? So do you have email invoicing? Do you have text marketing integrated? Do you have text to pay? Do you have a virtual terminal? Do you have a mobile device, right? Now they can switch that merchant because you didn't offer them value. So I'm fine with leading off with cash discounting. I mean, like I said, what better way to generate interest than with a pitch about eliminating fees? But don't stop there. Whether it's, towards the middle of the pitch, the end of the pitch, even after you're coming out to do the install and you already have the sale, take the time to go through that 3-step process to ask them questions, to talk about features, and then confirm that value with them and show them, hey, here's, I'm so glad we're going to be able to do cash discounting. Let me show you what else this can do for you and make sure we set it up correctly for your business so you can maximize the full benefit of it. All right, quickly, number 3, closing the sale. And again, very similar to overcoming objections. I could give you all kinds of great closing tactics and techniques, but I've done that in other videos. The truth is, if you're selling on value and you're confirming value, you can be very assumptive when you go to close the sale, right? My favorite close is just the paperwork close. I just say something like, hey, I'm so glad that we're going to, have a good fit for you here. Obviously, you agree that there's a lot of value in what we're going to be able to provide. Are there any other questions you have for me? Once they say no, I say, great. Let me pull out my notes here. I'm just going to take down some notes real quick. What's the correct spelling of your last name? And I just start filling out the agreement. Okay. Now, in conclusion, our sponsor is Valor Paytech. They're fantastic. Okay. Honestly, unless you've been living in a cave for the last few years, you know about Valor Paytech, but you may not realize the full omni feature capabilities because they kind of got their fame from the cash discounting and all the great integrations they have there. But you really need to check out their omni-channel solutions. Head over to ccsalespro.com/Valor, VALOR, ccsalespro.com/VALOR. Fill out that form. Their team's going to follow up to set you up with a free demo, and I think you're going to love what you see. Again, my name is James Shepard. This is the Merchant Sales Insight, and I hope that you have a fantastic rest of your day.